This video is sponsored by Miniswap. Alright you lot, welcome back. We are continuing our journey through the big summer preview that happened on Friday night, and I'll be honest, I'm massively excited for this. I think I might be more excited for this one than any of the others, and that is even considering that we got Exodites for 40k, because that's massive, that's huge, I love that. But, we've got new Ogor Mawtribes as well, and frankly, having already just seen a couple of things, I think these might be some of the best reveals of the entire thing, because, oh my god, this lot look quality and chunky. So first up, we've got a new Tyrant. Now, this by itself, this is a very good looking miniature. I really like the look of this, but if we go down a little bit, I believe this guy is the same kit. This is the same unit that you can just customize to such an extent that I really would have called that as a separate kit. Like it says the new kit comes with a selection of heads, cleavers, hammers, back banners and more, making it easy to customise your ferocious war leader. This line, if we scroll up, is just under the Tyrant section. So that's a massive amount of customisation for this one model. That's huge, and if that is the case, which it does seem like it is, I love that. That is so customisable, it's absolutely great. It makes me wonder, perhaps, if the weapons, so you got the big old hammer there, you got the massive cleaver style sword, whether those attach to the hands in ways that means you can just swap them from one to the other, because the other version of the Tyrant has got those two weapons swapped round. That is just a small thing, but that's a very cool thing if that's what they've done. If, like me, you've put a bunch of Space Marines together over the years, then you kind of get to feel like, hey, maybe not everyone is right-handed. You know, maybe we could have something different. That being built into the kit, thoroughly enjoy that, really like it. I really like the skin on this guy, all the cuts and scars and it sort of looks like there's scarification going on, but I don't know if that's just like war paint. The big maw around the head looks great. Those ear piercings are absolutely hardcore. Like, that is just fully a tusk rammed through the entire ear. That's mental. I really like the sort of gut plate that the ogres have got. It always looks good. It always looks intimidating. It looks very thematic as well, when you've got that more kind of shape around the outside. This just looks so good. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy looks great. But you can also just have this guy as well, and he also looks fantastic. I am 99% sure that is the same hammer, and I think it's the same sword, but again, as you can see, swapped over into different hands. Just a really nice thing to do, just a nice touch. I love the big fur cloak option on this guy. Also, the way the gut plate there has got, it looks like fabric stretched over it, or at least it may be made up of multiple different materials, but it's been like stitched together. Again, it's just very nicely done. His hair is atrocious. The hair is bad. But you know what? It works. It still works. I think the thing that's throwing me with the hair is like the sticks or bones or whatever that's been sort of put through it. It looks so haphazard and weird that I don't really know what I'm looking at. But I mean, it's such a good start. Both versions of the Tyrant that they've shown here, and presumably there are other variants that you can build out of this kit if you combine the different parts that we've seen across both of them. That is a lot of choice, and it's a really solid number of options for this leader. It's great. Now we also have new gluttons, and again, I think they've done a good job. I really like these. For my money, ogres have this weird thing where I've always liked the idea of ogres, but I've always felt that they looked a little bit dated, probably because they have been a little bit dated. It's like the idea has been great, but the execution wasn't really for me. And every now and again, they've shown off a new ogre model, and I've been like, that looks absolutely solid. The rest of the range isn't matching it in terms of the aesthetic qualities that I like from those more recent miniatures. And now they're just making all of them look as good as those various, specialists or characters or leaders they've put out over the last few years. So I've kind of gone from, I like the idea of this faction, but I'm not too hot on the models, to I like the idea of this faction, and now I like the actual models for it as well, which is, I mean, that is the dangerous point at which an army becomes inevitable. And when they look this good, there is something extremely menacing, possibly bestial about these guys. I don't want to be obvious about it when I say that they just look hungry, because they do. But that's also, part of being an ogre. I think they've just captured that element really, really well. I really like the helmets. The helmets are fantastic. Just immediately move across to ones that don't have helmets. But I don't know. There's, again, that kind of like beaten out brim shape that kind of comes down and then over the shoulders. I think that looks really, really cool. Also, they look obviously very big, very weighty. They've got a good amount of meat on the bone, if you will, but they don't look. I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. They still look horribly menacing. They really do. Like, they don't look non-threatening. They look extremely threatening. They look very, very scary, whilst also looking absolutely huge and like they'd struggle to walk. But the thing is, they don't look like they struggle to walk that much because they're clearly gunning for you. They are going for you, right? I don't know. They've just got the attitude right with these. They are this mix of like, oh, that's a big lad. Oh, that's a scary big lad. It helps that the weapons all look kind of brutal, like the hammers just being a big sort of kind of just a big stone with metal wrapped around it to attach it to the actual like haft. It's a timeless look. It always works and it's always threatening, and they've pulled it off really nicely with these. The swords are, generally speaking, just a big slab of metal. That's pretty much it. It's been sharpened, yes, just about, but you get the feeling that even if it wasn't sharp, it would still cut you in half. It would just be significantly more unpleasant because it would take a few blows as opposed to being a single smooth swipe. Also, the sheer number of them who have got just a big gauntlet on one hand that is just for punching people. The tenderizer fist, if you will. Absolutely love that. Love it. In fact, Iron Fist, they're called. I mean, you can't really argue with that name. It does exactly what it says on the tin, which is covering your fist in iron so they can beat you to death. Lovely. Plus, the big blade sticking out on the Iron Fist, I really like that as well. There's something almost worryingly simple about that. I want to be able to stab things, but I also want to be able to punch things. So what do? Well, I just stick the blade on the end of the thing that I punch people with, and that'll be that. It's very direct, a very direct method to designing a weapon, which makes it somehow a little bit scarier. I really like as well how, because they are more armoured around the midriff, you see scars and stuff actually on their skin, on their flesh. Like a lot of the upper body, like around the shoulders, the biceps, the chest, it's not actually that well covered. And you can tell that it's always not that well covered, because like we can see on the dude with the club and the notched sword there are just scars across his chest, across his shoulders. The guy next to him with the Iron Fist and the sword there, again, we've got all these like slash marks on them. You can tell that the protection works as it should because it also has that scarring, but the upper part of the body is just open to getting, well, the shit kicked out of it, and they are carrying that with them. It's just very, very cool. Also, a quick shout out to whoever painted these, because the 5 o'clock shadow on the dude with the horn is absolutely insane painting. Like, that guy in particular, they all look good, don't get me wrong. This is an exceptionally well-painted unit. They look incredible. But the guy with the 5 o'clock shadow back there, that is next level. It looks so good. I think this might be one of the best refreshes they've done. Just flat out. And this is only, we're 2 units in, but these are so well made. They are so well sculpted. They just look incredible. Every single one of them has got individual character. They look huge. They look threatening. They look violent. Like, they have nailed the attitude and the kind of implacable nature of them really, really well. They are legitimately kind of scary. Oh man, they've just done such a good job. Now, while I might not be a fan of the older ogre stuff, and I might much prefer the new ones, you might still like the old ones that little bit more, which of course means that when these go up for sale, those old ones are going to get harder to find, unless you take a look at the second-hand market. For instance, by taking a look at Miniswap. Miniswap is an online marketplace for your miniatures, built by hobbyists for hobbyists. It is a way for you to take your pile of potential that you have maybe let sit for a while and move it on to someone who desperately wants it. Or alternatively, if you've got a new project or you've got an old project that you're looking to expand, it's a way for you to pick up some miniatures slightly cheaper than you would from Games Workshop, and in many cases third-party retailers as well. There is a vast array of stuff to choose from on Miniswap, as you can see, and whatever you're looking for, you can decide how you want it. So you might be looking for something that is still in the box, still on the sprue but not in the box, partially assembled all the way to fully assembled, and of course if you're doing some kit bashing, you can hunt for some bits too. If you don't want to put them together at all, then well, that's also an option. You've got a bunch of different painting filters from unpainted all the way to fully pro-painted. Miniswap has also expanded recently. It's not just Games Workshop miniatures that you can find. They have opened up the catalogue to a ton of other manufacturers, encompassing not just miniatures but also general hobby supplies. You can find items from Steamforged, from Cromlech, Warlord Games, Corvus Belli, and if you're looking to get some Trench Crusade into your life, Factory Fortress as well. And that's just a few examples. The catalogue available on Miniswap has expanded massively and is absolutely worth checking out. Now, if you sign up to Miniswap using my link in the description and the pinned comment down below, you will get 0% commission for the first 90 days and free shipping on your first order. Thank you very much to Miniswap for sponsoring this video. Let's carry on looking at those tasty ogres. Next up we have the Iron Guts, and much like the Gluttons, they just look fantastic. They really do. I love that armor across the arms. It looks so good. Also, the layered plate across the gut is fantastic. The helmets, oh, they just look that little bit more evil. Like, these feel like proper elite guard. The equipment just feels that bit better, that bit more well made. There are just little design differences between these and the Gluttons that I think really, really make a difference. Like, the guys underneath are pretty much the same. There's not much variation in terms of, funnily enough, body shape and the like, because they're ogres, so they're all just massive lads. But that difference in the armor, that sort of layered, segmented look, the fact that they have got those greaves and stuff over the arms. Is it greaves on the arms? I can't remember. Either way, the up-armored look is fantastic, and it does a really good job of separating them out, even though the base gear underneath is pretty much the same, you know? The weapons, again, look horrific. I will say, once more, the painting on these guys is so good, and I think one of the things I really like about these, actually, the way that they've painted the weapons, that red cloth that is wrapped around the haft, that creates such a cool, bit of visual detail. It makes the weapons really pop on something that could end up being a little bit dull. Yes, they've gone for the green on the trousers, which does a lot, but there's a lot of metal and a lot of flesh, and having those vibrant sections of red, I mean, it really does a lot to just lift the whole thing. And again, you've still got all those scars across the upper torso, across the shoulders, the chest, and the back as well. Like, they haven't skimped on the detail on the backs of these guys. They have got cut marks and stuff across there too. Oh, they've just done such a good job. Such a good job. I also like the trinkets, the skulls, the bags hanging from the back of these guys. Oh my god, it's just such a solid unit. It's really well done. I love these. I absolutely love them. They look fantastic. We also have Maul Beast Cavalry. Now, I will say, the Maul Beasts, at first, the first one I saw was the one on the right with his mouth closed. And for a second I was like, he feels a little bit goofy. But then I saw the one on the left. And you know what? No, I don't think it is a little bit goofy. I think as soon as the mouth opens, it goes from having a bit of a grin to looking like something that's going to tear your limbs off. Not because it's hungry, but because it just sort of fancies it. They are incredibly threatening creatures. I think the design of them is very, very cool. They look really sturdy and rugged, which of course it sort of need to be because if you've seen the size of the guys riding them. It also means as well that because of the size of the guys riding them, you know that these beasts are massive. They are. They're just going to be huge next to anything else. They look so good. The horns, I think, work super well. Having that central one, but then having more traditional, almost is it ram's horns? There's a particular animal that's got that sort of look where they almost join in the middle, but I can't remember what animal it is. But that's what I'm thinking of. because that's sort of what they've done. I just really like them. I think they look great. The armor on the right one is very fun. I do like that there is a little bit of armor across one of them. It not being across both, I quite like it. Separates them out a bit. Outside of the mouth being open, it doesn't look like they've done much to differentiate between the two beasts, which makes sense. You know, not everything has to look completely different from another thing that's similar, but I do like that additional bit of customization just to make them pop, just to make them stand out that little bit more, especially when they've got these big horns on either side. You've got the horn decoration sticking out the back of the ogres themselves. It looks good. It looks really good. They look properly threatening. They also look incredibly strong. I don't know that they look particularly fast, but I also don't know that they need to. I think just the idea that they're coming at you quicker than any of the others is enough to inspire fear when you consider how threatening the rest of the ogres look to begin with, you know? So the ones we just saw were the Maul Beast Cavalry, and these are Maul Beast Raiders. And now I need to go back a second, because is that a slightly different leg pose on the Maul Beasts, is it? No, it's not. Okay, I see. They've just swapped the heads over. No, that makes sense. Hey, it works, alright? It looks good. I'm loving the Bird of Prey on the armor, one of those guys. That looks great. Also, the crossbows are solid. Really like those. Really like them having a ranged option for these. That's very cool. I also really like that look of having the leathers or the cloth wrapped around the upper body there as well. Again, it separates them out nicely, makes them look properly different. You're such a solid little unit. I mean, this is the thing. This is what's getting me. Everything about these is just perfectly executed. For my money, they all look brilliant. They all look fantastic. They just have got the execution spot on for every single variant of the ogres. They look incredibly wide and girthy. They also look really threatening. The amount of variation from one to the other is really nice, but there's also a ton of small detail that I don't know that we necessarily would have missed if it wasn't there, but they did it, and so we can't miss it. Things like all the scars and scratches. You could get away with doing like maybe one or two across one or two models, but the fact that there are so many and they are different on each one, it means that each of them feels a little bit more like their own person. I just really like it. I just think they've done a fantastic job. Now, I know there's been a little bit of chat about this guy, Red the Maw, the High Slaughtermaster, and that is because this is an interesting unit. We've got a huge base. This is like a centerpiece model. So you've got a massive base. You've technically got three different, well, four if you count what's his name? Gorger? I think it's a Gorger, pulling this huge altar with this giant, horrible cauldron full of body parts. The two guys on either side. It's an interesting one because it has that same feeling of those big centerpiece models, but you could separate this out into three bases, and I don't know that it would change very much, because the actual, like, area of the base, it's not being utilized in the same way as a lot of the other Age of Sigmar, like, big centerpiece models. You've got quite a few that have got, like, multiple different models, but they are more set up like dioramas, or they're more set up like something that is all attached to this one central figure, whatever that may be. Whereas this is effectively just big cauldron pulled by one guy with two guys walking on either side. So it reads a little bit differently. Now, I think a couple more Gorges pulling it, and then the two on either side, those being actually on some sort of platform around the cauldron, maybe lower down, I think that might read better as more of a diorama centerpiece than what they've done here. But that being said, that would add a lot of extra, like, busyness to this. And I think it being kind of simple works in its favor, right? Like, you can't miss what this is. You can't misread it. And it feels like the Cauldron and Red the Maw is being given, like, the vast majority of the attention here. It reads very clearly as this is a giant cauldron full of gore with a priest over the top of it. You can't misconstrue that, whereas if there was more busy stuff going on, it might get a bit sort of muddy visually. I don't know. It doesn't read the same as a lot of the other diorama stuff for Age of Sigmar in terms of your big centerpiece models. That being said, I don't necessarily know that it's bad. I actually really like it. I think the Cauldron Chariot is fantastic. It looks horrific and awful. The Gorger pulling it, I really like the Gorgers. The Gorgers look great. I think I would prefer to see at least one more Gorger pulling it, just because then I think that would really highlight the weight of this thing. But one is also fine. Like, it's not the worst, but I think it would just add a bit more like gravitas to it if you had to have two of these incredibly strong hulking monstrosities pulling this thing along. The two guys on either side look great. They look fantastic. The one holding the intestines is grim as anything, but I really like the way his armor echoes the cauldron itself. That's very, very cool. Red the Moor is horrific. Like, just outright horrific. That is a horrible looking lad, and all in favour. All in favour. Interesting, not bad. So the guys on either side are more Seeker acolytes, and yeah, it is a Gorger pulling the cauldron. Lovely detail on the back there. And when I say lovely, I mean horrible. That would be two people hanging from the back. Actually, one person, and is that part of some sort of beast, or is it just a person whose most of their skin and flesh has been taken off? It's difficult to tell, and it's horrible either way. The fun thing is, as well, there's still more. There's the Butcher too, and there's Cleavers. The Butcher is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. No matter what I'm getting the Butcher. The Butcher looks so good. The little cauldron that's attached to one side looks great. The armor looks fantastic. That like singular big horn sticking out the back with the chains wrapped around it. The cleaver is that is just incredible. I genuinely love that cleaver. I think it looks insanely good. And the way that person is being held by their mouth, or at least what's left of that person, let's be honest, there's not much left of that. It's gross. It's grim. It's awful. Absolutely love it. Really, really good. And if we thought the other lads were big, I think it's fair to say the Butcher is perhaps bigger than most of them. And yeah, alongside the Butcher, we've got the Cleavers as well. I mean, oh dear. These are horrific. The necks are atrocious, even by the standards of ogres. They're just, oh boy. The Cleavers again look brilliant. Not the actual guys, the weapons, but obviously the guys do too. Again, having a little cauldron off to one side is great. The hook through the flesh is horrific. Also, I like the fact that their armor has been damaged and then repaired, and you've got like hooks hanging off those too. Also, is that guy carrying like pitons, or is that a fork? Is that a double pronged foot? Why does he need a double pronged foot? We don't need to go into that. We don't need to think about it. It's fine. Yeah, I mean again, I just feel like they've nailed it. They've nailed the overall attitude. They look nightmarish. They look scary as hell. They're just so well done. They're super well done. I just think, oh man, absolutely smashed it. Absolutely smashed this lot. So those can also be built as Gut Seers. I mean, that is a significant difference, actually. As dual kits go, that's what? Different heads, potentially different upper bodies, different armor. The legs are the same. The arms, a couple of the arms are the same, but then other ones are completely different. That's quite a varied, I'd say that's quite a varied, like, dual build box, that. And of course there is the Mawtribes battle tome as well. I think it's fair to say that Games Workshop have absolutely nailed that. Absolutely nailed it. That's one of the best range refreshes I think they've done, flat out. It looks incredible. Every single miniature looks great, and it's literally like 10 out of 10. No notes. No notes. I wasn't sure on them with the old range. I wasn't really feeling them. They were kind of fun, maybe a bit goofy, a bit silly. They might still have a little bit of that, but I feel like they've just become absolute nightmarish, permanently hungry, awful warriors, and I really like it. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. There are multiple things in that I want purely to paint them, but I want so much of it. It's like, well, if I'm going to paint them, I may as well have an army of them. It's fair to say, I think you've got me on this one, GW. I think you've got me on this one. Anyway, let me know what you thought of that lot in the comments down below. Feel free to click up. Anyway, let me know what you thought of that lot in the comments down below. Thank you to Miniswap for sponsoring the video. Again, check them out using the link in the description in the pinned comment. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.